Far
The link.
so exciting.
Oh my god, this is so exciting. You, internet, you don't even know.
The link.
Yes, I can
Just
tweet that this is happening.
OMG.
The internet so does not like us. What is that?
Okay, so Stephanie and I were discussing this, like, it was, we kind of compared the invite, this whole situation that we've been having for almost an hour now. It's like trying to invite a friend into a game on the Xbox 360.
Oh, God.
And somehow Google has managed to bungle it further and make it even more difficult. Oh my
What a
god.
nightmare.
That is crazy.
We're live already. Oh boy.
We're live because I was so excited.
Oh, nice.
I
Right.
pressed the start button.
Oh, wait, now I'm going to go check your link on your page.
Ah, yeah. Have other people have other people test it out for us and see if it's working for other people.
Do we have a Q&A thing? Is that a thing that's working now?
The Q&A thing seems to be disabled even though.
Throw shit.
Come on, Google. I undisabled you. What the hell?
Get it together.
You know what? Just use Twitter. That seems to be the easier way to go anyway.
So we're live now, right? Hey.
Yes,
Hi.
yes, we are live, and
I'm going to tweet about this.
we gotta tweet this bitch up first. Sorry.
I'm gonna like scooch away so I can get my phone. Friend.
Just to be safe,
It's like you don't even know, internet. This is a big deal right now.
It's a big deal.
It's an even bigger deal than it was before.
It's an epic deal now.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna do. Everyone has their Twitter thing up. I'm gonna do stuff.
Okay, so I think that your link on the Agents of Geek page is no longer correct, but if you do the Hangout, the FemGamers Hangout on Google Plus, it is streaming us live as we are now. Yay!
Oh yes!
Wait,
I
so that
will-
Amy
I will-
put the wrong link because that's the one that I just tweeted.
Huh?
Is
the agent
the Agents
one?
of Geek link wrong?
It is.
It might be.
Or is that...
I might have to re-embed it.
Yeah, it says starting soon still, even though we're live.
Oh, Google. You suck.
That
So,
would be too easy for it to just work like it's supposed to.
I know. What
Can you
is
re-embed?
the deal? Yeah, I can re-embed. I can do that right now.
Okay. Because that's what everyone... That's what I tweeted.
I will do that while I get you guys started on E3. Like this, what this show is about,
Sure.
and not
Google.
Google's failings. Okay, so has everyone been able to watch all or most of the press conferences?
If by all or most of you mean like some trailers and Twitter feeds,
Important part anyway.
yes. I followed the live tweets. I followed Sam and your live tweeting. That counts, right? That totally counts.
That totally counts. I will accept that answer.
I was on a road trip across America. So, I mean, I only had Twitter at my disposal when E3 was mostly happening.
Well, the only people that had like hardware coverage was Sony anyway, so you didn't miss much.
Yeah, and I was live streaming from.
You were doing the Twitter
game
feed from...
trailers. I was live streaming. Like I was watching the live stream on game trailers because they were in partnership with Spike, and And I was live tweeting. I told Jim, our managing editor, is like, I'm gonna hijack our Twitter account. There's nothing you can do about it. It's like, okay. And he probably regrets it
good.
because I tweeted a lot.
You did. You were much better than I was because I skipped Monday, doing live coverage Monday, so I was like half of the live press conferences. Thank goodness they show that they like record them all. Yay, companies, because they're smart. So I could like watch them later because then I did all of our highlight vlogs with all the trailers and all of that. So worst case, if anybody's missing it, we have playlists like for each press conference, and they're all on the site. Good luck, Godspeed. I hope you enjoy, because it took a lot of time.
Okay. Oh, wait, maybe this isn't. I think I was on the wrong Google Hangout thing, the one that got bungled up. You know what?
Oh, no.
Yeah, forget about it. You know what? It's gonna be on YouTube anyway. Just deal
That's
with
true.
it. Oh wait, there's links on the bottom of this screen. What the fuck? Okay, so the first conference of E3 was Microsoft. And who said that they watched it?
I watched all of them live. So
Watch all of them live.
I think it's safe to assume that everybody watched it but me.
Oops. Yes. Okay. Just a quick rundown of most of the games that they feature is Rise of the Tomb Raider, which they featured her in a psychotherapy session, and they had Halo 5. They had like a sneak peek of Halo 5, and then they followed it up with Halo Master Chief Collection. And does anyone play Halo?
Sort
No.
of. I play like the co-op stuff sometimes, but like I tweeted about this. All I could see every time they said like the Master Chief Collection, all I could say see was the Master Chef Collection. I thought that would be really awesome, like a co-op multiplayer, like chef.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, like Gordon Ramsay.
Oh my god, Gordon Ramsay just, throwing his mouth around and shooting people. Oh my god, he's like the ultimate troll gamer.
Yeah. Throw him in some armor.
That's so true.
Give him like a big like butcher's knife or something.
Okay, so like the biggest news about the Master Chief Collection was that it has Halo 1 through 4, anything with Master Chief in it. And I know Halo 2 is getting like the anniversary remaster, kind of, yeah. Everything's being remastered in HD. All of the maps will be there. You can also, like, 6 stages are being remade, but you can switch back to the classic mode, which I don't know why you would do that on your Xbox One.
Some people are hardcore about those original gameplay.
I know, it's like going back. Oh, I mean, it's kind of like going back to 8-bit, but uglier. I don't know.
I just think of it, it's glitchy, so like all the tricks that you learned and that you miss now, I guess, like you can go back and pwn people with random glitches.
Yes. Oh, and okay. And then with the Master Chief Collection, they're gonna have Ridley Scott's Halo Nightfall series attached to it. What do you guys think about that? I know.
I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, has anyone heard anything else about Nightfall except that it's about a new character in Halo, naturally, and then it's by Ridley Scott?
No, but I really liked Forward Unto Dawn. But I enjoy web series generally, and they did an amazing job with Forward Unto Dawn. Forward Unto Dawn, like mixing the live action with the CGI, it worked out really well.
It did.
I don't mean to interrupt with like non-gaming talk, but I had a couple of people ask me where they can find this stream right now. Is there like a link like a direct link you can put up, or
There is.
I think your Agents of Geek site still says standing by.
It is. And no, I mean the box is. I'm clicking on the links thing on the bottom of this page right here, but it keeps disappearing. Kind of like what was happening earlier to my toolbox before we started broadcasting, and then I accidentally.
Oh yeah.
Unrolled. So.
Oh, wait, here, something's happening. It is actually doing stuff. Here, I've got the link here. I'll tweet it.
Yeah, Stephanie got the link, and that's how you guys joined, right?
Here, hang on. I'm going to tweet it.
Thanks, Steph.
Okay. Oh, no. It's like that annoying dog in Duck Hunt. Oh my God, I got it. Okay.
Here.
I'm gonna send you a link too.
Jessa, what's your Twitter handle?
My Twitter handle is @SultryMinxZoe.
Whoops, things are happening. I broke everything. Oh God.
Putting it in our chat window, so if you just want to copy and paste.
Ooh, there's a chat message.
There.
Sorry, we're still working on stuff. Things are happening all the time.
All right.
Social and sharing.
Oh, there's my little thing at the bottom of my screen. What happened? Okay. Wait a minute. Okay, sorry, we're off to a rough start here. So the other games that were announced, Super Ultra Dead Rising 3 Arcade Remix Hyper Edition EX Plus Alpha. So basically,
Make that a little longer.
So
and
basically,
the special character was great.
Yes, like it's Dead Rising 3 in arcade mode. And your characters get to cosplay as Street Fighter characters, or like a Lego dude with a big yellow head. And then you get to like just brawl on the streets. I think it's chaotic and full of neon stuff. And there's this trailer that they followed up with called Scalebound, and your partner is actually a big-ass dragon.
See, you had me at dragon. Like, okay.
It's like...
And you fight other dragons. It's amazing.
And you get to fight other dragons with your dragon, and when you... from the looks of it, you can touch the other dragon, and your armor turns into its skin, so you automatically, somehow by magic, get their armor grafted onto you. And you get to just fight. It looks so cool.
So it's like Pokemon Skyrim.
Yes! Gotta catch them all! And then, so a lot of people, the internet made a big deal about it, but I don't know what it is. It's called Phantom Dust. Jessa, do you know what that is?
I do not. I don't know the original game, and it's not too old. I want to say that it originally came out like 2004, 2005. I've never played it though. It totally the trailer that they showed reminded me of like the trailer when The Secret World was announced. I don't know if anybody played that. It's that MMO, but from Tryon World. But it totally looks the same.
It looks like a really awesome fighting game, but it was a trailer, so it probably looks slightly less better. But, I don't know. And then, there's an indie game that Microsoft showcased, Ori and the Blind Forest.
Yeah, that looked really beautiful. I was really into that.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of what I just finished playing, Child of Light, and it'll give me all the feels.
Yeah. We
It
kind of
looks like it's
over this a little bit, but talking about Tomb Raider, like, Did that whole therapy scene not bother anybody else? Like, why don't we ever see Nathan Drake in therapy? Or Solid Snake? Or, like, literally any male character in a video game ever. But it's just like, oh, the girl, oh, she had a tough time. So now, like, who has to have the stats? It was so hard for her. Like, as much as I think it's amazing that we get representation of a character who's, like, suffering from mental illness or, like, needs to be in therapy, like, I think we should have more of that. But it's, like, kind of troubling that the first time we get that, it's from, like, the lady, you know?
No, yeah, like, it didn't occur to me until you actually said it, but yeah, like, a lot of the male characters that we see in video games, like, I mean, granted, Laura was, young, she had in mind that she wanted to be an adventurer anyway, but just any average Joe or Jane gets pushed into these like high octane situations, you should come out a little messed up from that, shouldn't you? Like, so what they did with Lara Croft is like very real to me because she goes through some messed up stuff, like, and maybe she has died several thousand gruesome deaths, and oh God, I understand the therapy session, but yeah, it's like the first time we actually see a hero go through maybe like a PTSD of some kind, it has to be the lady. But
of course, the girl can't just go through a situation like that and be fine and move on to the sequel and like, oh, no.
I'm such a badass now.
You'll
but
make her like, fragile emotions first because like that was too much for her. Okay, cool.
Well,
like,
I don't know. Personally, like I don't see it that way. Like to me, it didn't come across as a slight to women that we couldn't handle it. It just came across as women know when to ask for help. Men, they compartmentalize that shit, and then they turn into, like, crazy people who can't, like, commit to relationships and shit. I'm making stuff up. But anyways.
They used to be James Bond.
No. But whatever. Like, I don't think it has to be a bad thing that the first, person we see in therapy for video games is a woman. I don't think that, it needs to be a bad thing. Mental illness is mental illness, and
for sure.
I mean, she still kicks ass.
Like, how do we see men in video games represented versus how we see women in video games represented?
Okay, so
and I think like 5 years from now, it would be awesome. But for right now, it's kind of like, man, I don't know.
But I don't know. Maybe it just doesn't feel negative to me. Because what you're saying, you're saying that you're pro mental health. And, like, getting help for that, but it's not okay for it to be shown in the video game.
It's
and
just
I guess
a
that's not
representation for me, I think. Like, I think if we had seen a dude going through it, I would be like, I would feel a little bit more comfortable with it now with Lara. It's just that, like, I wish we could have seen her presented the same way we see a lot of dudes. Or
but
I wish
at the same time,
presented the same way with Laura.
Lots of guys are going to play this game, but lots of girls are playing this game too. So why shouldn't she set a good, why shouldn't she be a good role model for people? If you've had effed up shit happen to you, get therapy. Why does that have to be a bad thing?
Personally, I wish we could see dudes presented like that.
I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that she's going to stay in therapy for too long, though.
No.
Yeah. I feel bad for the health industry because I feel like we've sort of said, well, yes, you should get help, but you don't have to stick with it. Like, go raid tombs. It's fine. Action adventure will change your life.
Hey, man, that could be part of her therapy, though.
Tomb raiding.
It's work therapy.
But for me, like, the idea that I thought of was I've had many conversations about like compelling female characters, strong female characters, and to me this, like, the fact that it has showed that she's a little messed up after what happened in the first game, it kind of makes her seem more human, whereas, like you said, Sam, the guys just kind of just like keep it all in, and they start going like balls to the wall action in the next game. It's like they're the psychos. They're less I don't really want to like say it as a definite statement, but
Yeah.
they would seem more like less human than maybe Laura would.
I guess that's what I'm saying. I would rather see those dudes in therapy. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we need to see right now in video games. You know, we need to see like, some realistic dudes getting help and like girls being like hardcore.
But I mean, it doesn't. But I mean, that's part of the point to me. You know, she can still be hardcore and get help.
Yeah.
I don't think there's
I
a
wasn't
disconnect.
like super sold on the story in the first game either, so I'm
Loved
like
the first game.
with this,
Like,
but
Tomb Raider and BioShock Infinite were probably like my favorite games like last year, and I thought they were great. I thought Lara was awesome, and she proved that the game itself proved that she could take hits like the guys, like Nathan Drake. Nathan Drake gets the shit kicked out of him, and they don't skimp on any of that with Lara. And fine, Nathan doesn't get, he doesn't get the help he probably needs, but I don't know. Like, my character, I like them flawed. I like my characters flawed. Like, I don't want to read a book or a comic or play a game where the characters act like nothing's wrong. Like, they go through traumas and they think that everything's fine. And, why do I have problems? I don't have problems. There's no problems here. No problems. No problems. Let's go, like, shoot shit. It's fine. Like,
I totally agree.
I don't mind that.
In that case, I really look forward to the next Uncharted game where Nathan Drake cries his way through the whole game. I think that'd be great.
Well, even if they had like even just like a cutscene or a conversation scene in something like Mass Effect, where like somebody has to worry about like combat PTSD, like just a simple like just checking in on you, how the feeling's going. Are you feeling out of control?
I think Shepard kind of went through that like throughout the third game, where like it was the onset of maybe PTSD was appearing through those dreams and stuff, and just,
I'm sorry, but Dom really needed one for Gears. Like, he totally needed therapy.
Oh my god, yeah, he did.
Like, I mean, I love you, Dom, and good on you, but no. After that, you don't just go back into battle.
To be fair, I don't think there were a lot of therapists he could have talked to.
It's true. Probably not with their recruiting and that sort of situation.
Okay, so let's move on to the next conference, the EA press conference. Overall, there were a lot of kind of dev diary teasers for a lot of the big games. Case in point, Star Wars Battlefront, which they opened up the conference with.
For a second? Oh, we went to some of the locations that they filmed at. This is going to be a Star Wars game. That was like all of the information they gave us. Cool.
We went to the Muir Woods where they shot the original scenes.
Indoor, like I've been searching for ages.
Tells us literally nothing about the game.
No, they didn't. But they showed their enthusiasm for wanting to get all the right stuff in there.
Yeah, I appreciate that our game developers play the games. Yeah, that's a good start.
I mean, like the studio has become Disney, where they take all of their where they take all of their artists and game developers on location to study stuff. It's like,
well, at this point, it's all just Disney World, so really.
Disney has taken over our childhood. But okay, so then the other dev diary was Mass Effect. Okay, guys, so I cried a little bit.
When like the beginning of the music came on, I was like, and I was like expecting something really good, like the Dragon Age Inquisition trailer last year, and then all it was two guys being like, "We're making a Mass Effect game," and everyone was like, "We know." And they were like, "We're gonna get back to you about that. We're gonna hit you up with that later."
They just had to get the epic music in there, like just set the tone, because that's where every Mass Effect starts. It's like, it doesn't matter if we don't show you anything about the game. Like, so all right, it's Halo 5 Guardians, we know. Okay, that's all you need to know. And
at the first note, you're already locked in. It's like, oh my god, this is amazing. But wait, this is just you fiddling around with, prototypes.
Right.
It was just a
See
bunch
you,
of
we'll see you
math
next
games.
year.
They were like, here are some trees, and here's a planet. This is a drawing of a Krogan. Like, okay. Good.
I really do wish they would stop with all of the like. It's because at this point it's not even a teaser trailer. Like you're not
Like
gonna
it's a teaser of a teaser.
right.
Exactly.
You're not gonna release it till fall 2015. Wait till next year.
Like, I really appreciated them waiting until last year to announce Dragon Age Inquisition, because by then they had, like, that nice full trailer together with, like, Morgan in it and everything, and I was, like, so surprised, and I, like, fell on the floor, and I was so excited. And if they had that for Mass Effect, I would have been like, I almost would have just rather they said nothing about it until, like, they had something for me.
Or at least show us, like, concept art or some sort of assets. But no, not, hey, we're working on this game. You're gonna love it.
Okay, so this is what I have written about. I don't know if you can see it. This first half of the page is what I had written for the EA conference. The stuff that I don't have that probably would have filled the rest of the page was EA Sports.
Yeah, whatever.
So like, as soon as the sports section came on, it was like, wait, there's Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
It's boring again. It's like,
Right.
oh wait, there's Mirror's Edge. Wait, we're still in sports?
Well, don't you love how they sort of like tried to break it up a little bit by putting Criterion in there? Again, not telling us what the game is, just that they're working on something new that's sort of inspired by GoPro videos.
That was BioWare too. They were like, we're making Mass Effect and also we're making a new IP. Anyways, golf. It's like, what's your new IP? What's happening?
It's like they said we have 2 new surprises after this, and it's like, what's the second one? You told us the first one. What's the second one?
Totally.
You know, they have to tell us how they've changed their office layout, and now everybody sits together, and sometimes in a pub.
Well,
That
that's
is
the
important.
Criterion one, yeah. Oh, Easy Rider from here.
If only I knew video games were going to be that easy to develop, I might have chosen a different career.
Yeah.
And did you notice? Like of course, they didn't have desks, yeah, but they didn't have desktop computers. They all had Mac Pros.
Yeah.
It was also 100% male. There were no women.
Yeah.
Zero.
Oh, well,
Counted.
how many women in game design is actually interested in off-road ATVs and
there's got to be someone. You would
wingsuits? Actually, no, wingsuits are pretty badass, but you know.
And like I like to watch my guy friends play those games only because I want to like look at all the pretty cars. Like I just like to look at the specs and catalog, like when you're picking out your inventory. Beyond that, like the game itself, the driving part of the game is so boring. Like seriously, I don't care that you put Nürburgring in there, like it's still gonna be boring. Like it's still driving.
Like, we're making a left turn.
Yeah, like unless you're gonna add some like extreme off-road bonuses, nope.
You know what? If I'm gonna watch anything with cars in it, I'm gonna watch the Fast and Furious movies. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna play games. And I know they're like terrible good, but like I unironically love the Fast and Furious movies, and I'd rather watch those than pretend that I'm driving, fast cars. Maybe I'll start a race club in Toronto. Sam, you in?
I do play.
Street race. Let's do it.
I do actually play Need for Speed on mobile. So.
Wait, how do you do that? How do you race on mobile? Is it just kind of like
you have to like
tilting?
Yeah, it's a touch interface. Well, mine has a touch interface because it doesn't do the motion. I mean, there are ones that do. Mine does not, because I don't have an iPhone. I believe in Droid. I believe in freedom.
Boo!
That doesn't mean it always works. I will admit that. Motorola.
Neither does the iPhone.
iPhone. This kind of happened. I didn't actually buy it. It just happened.
iPhone happened to me.
I found it. But okay, so yeah. Oh, speaking of sports and stuff, Mirror's Edge was kind of placed in there cleverly, but it was also This is also kind of like a dev diary, but they actually had an example of gameplay of what you would expect.
Conceptual
So, like-
prototype, I believe. Was
Yeah,
the term.
conceptual prototype is.
Yeah.
But Frostbite, when they did like a kind of like a cinematic close up of Faith,
Mm,
the Frostbite engine looked pretty sexy. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm in.
Like, I saw that Frostbite 3 come up, I was like, ooh. And then I was like, okay, I'm sold.
I agree.
And the nice, clean, like, black, white, and gray with the red pop of color, I was sold. I'm like, this is going to be just sleek and minimalist and parkour crazy.
I agree.
Now, has anyone else played the first game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had to play it in like super small doses though, because it actually made me motion sick. Like it was so intense. Like, you know, you're sitting in front of the big TV because no one has tiny TVs these days. And like I'd play it and I was like, oh, must go like lie down. I'm like, this game is making me sick. But it's so rad and you want to go back like 5 minutes later, but then it makes you sick again. And it takes you a really long time to play, but it's so good.
I rage quit that game so much. It was like, I've had enough of you. No, I'm coming back. I've had enough of you again. Oh, it was very tumultuous, our relationship.
Understood.
I don't know what happened to it.
Yeah, that's a good thing to pick up when you're like in the middle of, say, like a 12-hour bender playing games, or like if you're in the middle of, say, maybe a game-a-thon, you're like, I need to force myself to stop and walk around for a minute and come back.
A little bit. Okay, so the next game, Dragon Age Inquisition, they actually had stuff for us to look at. I don't quite remember the trailer. Who else saw that trailer?
Inquisitor, which was really cool. She's going to be voiced by Samantha Trainer from the Mass Effect games, which is super, super awesome. They showed a female Canary, which was like the most amazing thing, and they showed some of the gameplay, and I'm just like, could not be more stoked for this game. Female Canary Inquisitor, like, oh my god, I'm gonna melt down on the floor and die. Amazing.
Now,
it was the first Dragon Age that made me want to play Dragon Age. I was like, okay, I might actually have to pick up this game.
The original Dragon Age is like one of my favorite games of all time. It's super brilliant. I highly recommend.
Nice. Like, I've never actually told Karen Weeks, and she's the head editor at BioWare, and she mostly works on Dragon Age stuff. And like, we communicate on Twitter every now and then. It's like, but she's like, oh, I'm so excited for Dragon Age, blah blah blah. It's like, I'm gonna pretend that I know what you're talking about and be excited with you. And I've never played any of the games, but I will this time maybe.
Tried for a while.
I think you'd like them.
I tried to play, and I had like I was dating this guy at the time, and he would like watch me play, and he was like, "Oh, this is terrible." And like, you know, like when you try and get into something, and somebody's like looking over your shoulder and being like, "This is the worst," and then you just don't want to play anymore. I didn't play Dragon Age. It wound up getting like ruined for me because of this guy that was just like, why are you playing this? That's obviously not at all what he looked like. But
That's unfortunate.
anyway, I just bought Dragon Age Origins, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna play that.
It's great.
I heard that was like one of the better installments in the series.
That's what
There's
I heard
only
as well.
2 games right now. There's Dragon Age Origins and there's Dragon Age 2. And Dragon Age Origins is like widely regarded as one of the best games ever made. Like great combat system, great dialogue, great characters. And then in Dragon Age 2, they kind of went backwards a little bit and took away a lot of the things that made the first game so good. They put in a lot of like cloned areas, which people really hated. And so a lot of the feedback they got after Dragon Age 2 was like make it more like the original. So everyone's hoping that Inquisition will be more like Origins. But if you're going to play any of the games, play Origins, because even though it's older, it's like far superior. For sure.
Okay. Noted.
And
It's always
also,
been too much story.
Love interest in that story is based half on Mel from Firefly and half on Xander from Buffy. So
You just get your Whedon love on.
Yes. Okay, so the game that EA ended with is called Battlefield Hardline, which is pretty much like any other Battlefield game, but it's set in LA. Your typical day in LA where
Yeah.
cops and robbers just throw explosive shit at each other and mayhem ensues. Oh, and grappling hooks. They couldn't have emphasized that enough.
Seriously.
Because they're his jam.
But yeah, it's like they tried so hard not to call it cops and robbers. It's like
Yeah,
cops and criminals. But in another conference, I think it was Sony. They finally said cops and robbers. Like, yes.
Somebody admits it.
You
Yeah.
knew it. You just didn't want to say it.
Okay, so the next one is Ubisoft, and they had, I think, the most entertaining as usual because Aisha Tyler throwing the F-bombs left and right.
Oh, man.
And then
She
all
just couldn't
these-
help her. So, just, yeah.
So Aisha Tyler, third year running, just like do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
You can also say fuck now.
On stage, but we can't actually put women into any of our games. That would be like way too awkward. Ubisoft.
I feel like throughout
Yeah.
the entire E3, throughout the entire E3 press conferences, like all of them bunched together, excluding Nintendo because they're Nintendo, they do whatever they want. But I feel like we took a step back from 2013 as far as female protagonists go.
I made a
Oh,
list
definitely.
of all of the games at E3 that had playable female characters, and there were actually 20. There were 30. There were 30 games at E3 with playable female characters. They didn't showcase a lot of them because a lot of them are like custom options. Like, for example, The Division, Tom Clancy's The Division, you can play as a female. Destiny, you can play as a female. Evolve, you can play
And they
as a
actually,
female.
for, I think it was, I want to say The Division, when they did, no, sorry, it was not The Division. Oh my god, what am I thinking of?
Rainbow
The
Six?
gameplay, oh, maybe it was, yes, it was Rainbow Six. That's what it was, where they actually, their gameplay did include a female in their multiplayer
Yeah.
Well, actually,
party.
both games actually did. The Division in Ubisoft, they had gameplay trailer where like there was a 4-man co-op and one of them was a woman. By the way, they were the chillest gamers in co-op
Yeah.
play ever.
Those are amazing. I want to play with those people. Like,
And then of course Rainbow Six had a female sniper.
Yeah.
That was across the street taking people out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there were actually 30 games. It was just kind of hard to tell, but when you do go digging, you can find that actually a surprising number of games, and more than last year, they're just going more into like the customization option, as to like much like the Commander Shepard thing, like you can be a dude or you can be a lady, which is great. I hope like Sunset Overdrive, you can be a lady, and they didn't show that either, but you totally can. So I hope that trend continues. That's
I don't understand
awesome.
the not featuring a female character, particularly when we're doing multiplayer, like why we don't do that more often, because you've already got the assets built into the game at that point. It's nothing extra to make that part of your main character. Like
she doesn't have to have big boobs. I mean, if you're athletic and doing a whole bunch of aerial stuff, you don't have big boobs. I mean, unless you start really
Unless you're
late in your
Laura.
development.
An animator on Watch Dogs said they did mocap for that game on both men and women, and that the action mocap for both genders were identical. They were indistinguishable in the computer because men and women move the same way in combat and in action situations. So it's like you literally don't even have to retrack any of the animations. You can just like you don't even have to give her
change proportions.
Like you don't have to change
Yeah.
anything. It's crazy to me. It's an excuse.
And like,
I mean, I
can
have
also
heard-
note that Far Cry 3 has elephants that you can use, and yet, like, elephants are playable characters before.
And Ubisoft said, "Oh, Far Cry 4 almost had playable female characters, but we took them out." So, okay, cool.
Hey, no. The pachyderm is a lady.
Yeah, Lady Elephant.
Lady elephant. Hey man, you saw that elephant just completely fucking ram a jeep, or was it a tank? Anyway, just that elephant just messed shit up, and it was awesome. And
And then it
I want to name
survived.
it.
I was like, whoa.
It survived the explosion. The car exploded in its face, and it left unscathed. That's
He didn't even
badass.
care. He didn't even care.
Nothing's affecting me.
La la la. But how about those first minutes of Far Cry, though? Yes.
I don't know if we can back to Far Cry
That, like, racist blonde guy was not actually a white dude. Because, like, everybody saw that cover art and was like, whoa, racism. But now, actually, he's an Asian. So, okay, that's good, I guess.
He's like a blonde. He's a blonde Asian. I forget what his name is, but he's voiced by Troy Baker, who is like the whitest, blondest dude you'll ever meet. But he's so awesome.
And also very handsome. Yes.
He's very handsome.
Very
And he's very good at his job. So, I am... Anyway. Oh, and there was this weird moment where everyone was dancing with their phones.
Yeah, that wasn't choreographed at all.
No, it's like, where are the TVs that they're dancing this with? And then there were people up in the balconies and in the audience. They were dancing too with their phones because there's an app apparently for Just Dance 2015 where you can use the phone as a remote. So I guess they're
how
ditching.
seamless they
already has to have like a wrist thing so you don't throw it the fuck across the room. Like the last thing I just have my cell phone in my hand when I'm fucking like doing Just Dance. Like that is a recipe for disaster. There's no way my phone is surviving.
I need a padded room. Like, you know, all of my room where I game needs to be padded walls, the floor, everything. So I can just throw shit and it'll all be fine. Whether it's accidental or because, you know, I'm really mad at a game. It's just like, ah!
That's a dream room. Dream game room.
But I would just like to say, like, I want my Wi-Fi everywhere I am to be like it was in that theater because there's no way you had all those people all on Wi-Fi, all in sync with the game, watching the same display.
Anyone who's been to a convention knows that's not possible.
Right, like I can't even get that kind of Wi-Fi in my own home, being near the router. Like, it looked neat, but in great, I don't have to have all those motion controllers now to charge up. Woo! I appreciate that, but yeah, now I just got to worry about the Wi-Fi that a large portion of America still can't get.
Yeah.
But I'm all for Just Dance because yay, that's part of my like fitness routine.
I actually have a dancing game, and I don't know. It's Dance Central. I got it when I got my Xbox with the Kinect, and I played with it for a week. That's it. My Kinect is actually right here, and the rest of the machine is downstairs. Oh.
My Kinect freaked me out. I didn't like the idea of like the camera watching me. Just weirded me out.
That's why the Kinect's up here, far away from my TV.
Yeah.
When the other thing about Just Dance was like they touted all these like social sharing things like they were brand new, which they are brand new for Just Dance, like the ability to like record your performance and share it and be scored, but that's not new for Dance Central. Like it's just catching up to another title in the same genre.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Okay. So the very last game that I want to mention is, of course, Assassin's Creed Unity. And I know two of you ladies had some issues with that, but before we get to that, I just want to say they're bringing back co-op in the story mode. I approve a lot. It's one of the reasons why you get video games is so you can play with your friend, either online or I don't know if you can play in the same room, but it might be implied. I don't know. Either way, you can play with your friends, and I find that incredibly awesome.
Yeah, and I know like Sam especially. I know you have lots of problems. Totally valid, but like I love Assassin's Creed, and I know I should be like pissed off, and I am. I am pissed off at them for the reasons they gave, which I assume we will get into in a moment, but I still can't help but be excited. I really love. It sounds really terrible out of context, but I just like stabbing things.
You're allowed to.
It makes it really hard.
I think it's important to remember in cases like this that you're allowed to be critical of something and still enjoy it. And if you weren't allowed to be critical of something and still enjoy it, then you would literally be allowed to enjoy nothing. Because everything has a problematic representation of something, almost guaranteed. So it's not a problem to know that it's shitty of them to make up lies about why they didn't include women in this game and, like, still want to play Assassin's Creed. Like, that's totally valid.
It's one thing. We've gotten used to them being no females in the game, and so it's one thing for them to just not put females in the game, and it's another thing to give the excuses they gave, which were bullshit.
Well, listen, I mean, they already have Assassin's Creed Liberation, which animated a female thief in Aveline. They have the build for her already. And in Assassin's Creed multiplayer co-op, they currently have female avatars. So they literally have no excuse to say, oh, it's too difficult to build a female. Oh, we can't do it. Oh, it takes too much time. Literally already have all of these things. An animator from Naughty Dog who worked on making female Shepard for Mass Effect and now works on Uncharted said it would take 1 to 2 days, not 8,000 animations. So, like, we all know that the reason Ubisoft didn't put women in their game was because they didn't want to put women in their game. And that's basically what, like, the Grand Theft Auto 5 people said. When everyone was like, oh, it's 3 men, they were like, our story is about 3 men. It's our artistic decision to be made about 3 men. And everyone was kind of like, okay, all right, fine, it's your story, fine. Like, we all kind of, like, rolled our eyes, but whatever. But it's this, like, oh, it would be too difficult, it would take too much money. Well, then maybe you should reevaluate pushing out an Assassin's Creed every single year if you can't spend, like, the 2 days on putting a lady in multiplayer or on palette swapping one of your dudes so he can, like, have a tan and be a person of color. And that's, like,
the thing is, there was, like, it wasn't a playable character, but there was a main character in Black Flag that was a female.
Totally.
And you do missions with her, and it's a bit of a spoiler, so I won't tell you, like, who it is or anything. But, like, you do have female characters in the game.
But they're not playable in single player.
That would have been a cool side story, too. That character would have been a really cool, like, DLC for Black Flag.
And, of course, there is Aveline, who was single player for her own, like, full game.
Wait, what?
I feel like... What?
Oh, I just...
Aveline was a playable, like, single player for her own entire expansion, so...
Oh, yeah. But, like, I feel like part of the answer that they gave, I mean, aside from... It's too hard making a female character, blah, 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 bullshit. But there was also... The last bit of that sentence was, like... Or the last bit of what they said was, like, you already have Aveline... We have, like, all these other characters.
Like, you should be pacified.
Why aren't you happy? It's
yeah.
like...
Because there aren't elephants in the game.
Oh, one time you don't get a female character and you complain. And I wanted to be like, I don't think one time means what you think it means. Because, like, just because, like, it's just... like, I can't even go there. It's too much. Right.
Okay. All right. So moving on. Sony conference. I don't actually have like the order that they broadcast in, but one of the first things that I really loved was their demo of the Order 1886, where they actually showed a little bit of gameplay, or a little bit more gameplay, but the difference with the stuff that they previously shown leading up to E3 was that they actually showed a werewolf hunting you practically. That was gnarly.
It's about like a disease that turns people into monsters in the 19th century. And while I was kind of bummed that you actually can't play as like the badass steampunk lady, you have to play as the dude. It still looks super amazing.
It does. It's the graphics, of course, was just phenomenal. It looks really next gen, like what we've all been wishing for last year, but they didn't really provide for us. But
That was like the first thing I said about this E3. I was like, okay, so Microsoft and Sony have to have next-gen titles because it has now been like 8 months since you released these consoles with no reason to buy.
Yeah.
Honestly.
But it just looks really good, and the atmosphere is super creepy, especially when the werewolf just like smells your blood. It's like, I can smell you, human.
Like
Ah,
Wolverine.
yes, but scarier.
I know.
Maybe he's scarier. I don't know. But I just really enjoyed it. Oh, and speaking of like horror elements, there's also Bloodborne,
Yeah.
which kind of like reminded me of like an Victorian age Resident Evil with
Yes. I was like, yes, bring the brutality,
It
the
looks like
carnage.
yeah, it's like vampires, zombies, or skinless dogs.
Like
I don't know what was going on, but it looked
dungeon crawling, but it's like this weird stealth dungeon crawler with like God of War action. I'm
Like
so
it-
looking forward to it. This is
and
gonna
then
be
at
my
the
game.
very
Being able to like customize your person, so that's kind of exciting too. I want to be fucking Buffy in this game. Stoked.
Okay. Okay. And so see what else? There was Bloodborne, Dead Island 2, which started out with like a bro runner who was like completely oblivious to everything. That actually
I don't
entertained
know.
me.
I have no desire to play the second one. The first one was just
Yeah, I
I
have
put
Dead
lots
Island
of
2.
hours into that game. Like I say this, having put a significant chunk of my life into it. So, I mean, bad on me for spending 15 hours on it, but
If the real difference is that we're all doing this on Venice Beach, I'll be really upset. Like, oh yay, at least we got a seaside view.
Yeah. Okay, so the part that I really want to get down to for Sony is like they showed a little bit of games, but they really needed to talk about some of the hardware that they were coming out with. Like
Oh,
they're
well,
finally
before
coming
we
out
move
with
on from games,
PSTV.
are we
Oh,
not going to talk
yeah.
about No Man's Sky? That was
Oh,
with the whole Sony
No Man's
conference.
Sky.
Like,
Oh yeah,
whoa,
that was start. I don't know why Yes, No Man's Sky. What the
oh my god. That
it
looked
was
like
so
if
pretty.
Star Fox was like on crack and for modern households and had a baby with like a Dr. Seuss book and Mass Effect. It was like amazing. I'm a little worried that for an indie dev, like it's a little tough to do both a super great like piloting jet fighter game and an awesome planet exploration game. Like that's a big game.
Well,
But it's
and that
ambitious.
every gamer gets a different experience because they all end up on different planets. Like, how do you put that much
Yeah.
work into all those assets to ensure that it's such a unique gameplay for everyone? Like,
Is it
That's
like a
huge.
drop-in multiplayer, kind of like Journey? Or
I think it's a single player game. I'm not sure about that.
I don't know. I mean, it might be single player, but who knows? I mean, because they're just
Yeah,
sneaking
I
up
think
yeah, they've been sneaking up co-ops wherever they do it. It's like, oh, by the way, kind of like it's been sidelined, but I don't know. There's been a lot of games with co-op, and so I just kind of assumed that this one might have. But oh yeah, and Entwined. I think my PS4 is still downloading it because my internet sucks, but it's out now, and it looks pretty.
That looks amazing. I played Ibn Ob last year, which was you controlled both characters with the two different sticks, which is similar to how Entwined is going to work, except Entwined has dragons, so way better.
Dragons, fish, and a bird who turn into
Yes.
dragons
Yes.
because they're in love. Okay, so like, I think this is later this year, but they're coming out with a white PS4, and it's also going to be bundled with Destiny. So yeah, later this year. And
Holy God, I
don't know.
can't wait to play Destiny. Oh man, it looks so good. Somebody was complaining to me about it, being like, it just looks like a fusion of Borderlands and Halo and Mass Effect. And I was like, you literally just described my ideal game.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing.
Cool.
That's never a bad thing.
No. And I saw a shot today from IGN of the character selection screen, and you could totally be the lady versions of all of the characters. So, like, now I get to be a freaking lady space pirate again, which is, like, my dream all the time. So, good day for me.
And then,
yeah, did they mention how much the bundle was going to be? I don't recall seeing it. I know it's September 30th it comes out, and it's the 500 gigabyte PS4, which, yay, but
they did not price drop. Or they didn't name a price.
Because they're going to go back up to the 700.
I really wanted like a PlayStation 4 Vita bundle. Like, that's what I was expecting. Because I don't want to buy a Vita by itself, but I would totally buy a Vita if it came with the PS4. And then they didn't give me that, and I was really sad. They
were kind of downplaying their peripheries a little bit, kind of like what Microsoft was doing.
But they committed to, oh yes, we're going to support the Vita, and it's going to have access to PS Now and all those games. But you would especially expect it with the PlayStation TV, like that they would do that sort of bundle.
Yeah.
Spend that much on a PlayStation.
That could actually, that could actually work just like the Wii U tablet. They just redid it that way. That could actually work.
They're all about the transferring, so. Mm-hmm. Even though we call it something else these days. Remote play or whatever.
It's weird. Oh, and so like they're also coming out with PS TV, which is kind of like what we already have in Apple TV and Roku. But you can play games with your remote. Or if you want to, you can buy a DualShock separately and then play with that.
No thanks.
It's like having a Steam box and a Roku, except it's a PlayStation.
Yeah. I mean, it hooks up to your PlayStation Now once that gets started, but I'd rather have the PS4.
Me too.
Yeah.
Because
I think the only real bonus is that it's so much cheaper. Like, yay! It's just $100 for just the PS TV. Or, if you get the controller and the 8, why do we still need a memory card? Like, why is there not a solid state in there?
Agreed.
No.
Agreed.
Funny.
You're going to have access to all of that in remote play and do all these wonderful things with the HDMI. Why is there not solid state built in? You are an entertainment company. You make the frickin' chips. Like, what is wrong with you?
That's exactly it. They make the chips. They want the money. So you gotta have
it.
It's true.
Look how cheap this is! But then look at all the things you have to buy with it. Aren't you so excited?
Well, that makes me so much more worried because the whole point of going with Sony is because it's quality product. So for them to create a product that's so low priced, it just screams problem to me. I would rather pay the $250 for it.
But you know who it's aimed at? It's the people who don't feel the need to have a PS4. Like, they're just your regular casual gamers or people who aren't into gaming as much as the people who would actually buy the consoles themselves.
Or the people that just bought the Xbox One. Yeah. We already spent the $500. We need to take a break for a second.
And then buy the console next year.
Plus the $60 per game. Yeah, I could totally see that. I mean, good on them. I think it's great that they have the option, and especially with PS Now and having access to the back catalog, as well as the PS4 titles through PlayStation Now. Like, it's not a dumb idea. It just, I sort of wish it was better hardware.
Okay, so Stephanie says that she needs to leave in about 9 minutes, so I'm going to ask some of these questions right now. So what are some of the games that you're top 3 games that you're most looking forward to?
Oh, top 3.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, Nintendo, that I skipped over you, but
I'll start. Nobody else wants to start?
Stephanie starts. Stephanie will start.
Okay. Oh, what? Oh God. I don't know.
Think real quick.
So, Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah.
The Zelda game. And I think honestly, Assassin's Creed Unity.
Nice.
Okay. Sam?
I'm gonna be like super predictable. Dragon Age Inquisition for sure. Mass Effect 4. Once like I'm dead apparently whenever that decides to come out. And actually Splatoon, the Nintendo like online multiplayer battle game where you're like like shooting and there's ink and you're like an adorable squid girl and it looks super amazing and all the reports I'm hearing out of E3 is that it's super super fun to play. So that's my kind of
that game actually trended as soon as it started showing up
nice.
on Nintendo Direct. It started trending, and then everyone would not stop talking about it. So I think it's going to be a really good game. And now I need to get a Wii U.
Yeah.
Me too. I remember Super Smash Bros. Like Mario Kart 8, this new open world Zelda game, plus Splatoon. Like they have fully convinced me. I'm convinced.
But it's about time. I'm sorry, Nintendo, but you really needed to have all that. Like, you needed to have a reason to spend. I mean, and they've even had the price drop. It's what, $250 now to get it in a lot of places, if not most. So, yay that they are supporting it with like games that actually will be effective and use the. Well, that was one of the things like people sort of came at me for because I posted just a quick like blurb about it with the trailer, and apparently it came off like I was dissing Nintendo, and I was like, no, this is great. Like, you're actually using the Wii U and you're maximizing on the functionality. Like, this is a game developed for this platform. Like, good on you. I appreciate that. Like,
it's like super obvious to me the more time goes by. They pushed the console out really quickly to beat the PS4 and the Xbox One, but because they pushed it so early, they didn't have any games for it. Like, if they had waited to release the console until now when they had already built all this content, then I think like it would have sold exponentially better, much in the same way like the original Wii sold better. So I think it was just a matter of timing.
Yeah. So, Jessa, what's your top 3?
Oh my gosh, that's so hard. All right. Maybe I'll just try and current stuff that's going to come out this year, I hope. I've never played The Witcher before, but I really want to play The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. That was like one of my, I have to play that game.
I tried to play The Witcher 2, and that was actually one of the instances where a padded gaming room would have come in handy, because I wanted to throw the controllers so many times. Like, I played for hours. I'm like, this is great, this is great, this is great. But even if you save and you die, it takes you back beyond this ridiculous checkpoint. So I wound up losing an hour of my game, or 2 hours or something ridiculous, and I was like, what is this?
That's horrible.
So angry. And I was like, I'm done. I'm like, I'm not going through this again. This part wasn't this interesting.
That's sad. All right, so maybe I'll watch somebody else play it first and then spend my cashy money.
No, keep it in your top 3. I'm not trying to, I tried.
It looks amazing, but yeah, I've not played any of the Witcher games before, so this would be my first one. So
maybe it'll be better.
I'll see. I have friends that'll play first. But there was a lot that was for 2015 that I really just want to skip over. I don't use them for my pick. Infamous First Light DLC. Okay, I have to say, Sony did some pretty fantastic things in the fact that, you don't have to have your Infamous copy to play the DLC. Also, what was it? I have to go back down.
Far Cry 4 is the same thing.
Yeah, oh my god, I'm so in love. And then Grand Theft Auto, where they're going to allow the current 360 and PS3 communities to transfer over their GTA character and progress saves. Okay, that was kind of amazing. I don't play GTA, but I was like, good on you, Sony. And the fact that you could do it with 360, I'm on board. There needs to be more of that crap. Okay, get it together, games. But, I am really looking forward to. I picked a lot of games I don't normally play, which is really weird. But we'll stick with games as opposed to DLC and stuff. So I am going to go with third pick. All right, there's a lot of people that could come in here, but Bloodborne, 100%. That's probably my number one.
That looks extra scary, and I probably will just watch you play it. So.
God of War is like my go-to franchise. I love hack and slash horror.
Okay.
Like I love violence in my video games.
So for me, it's definitely going to be Yoshi's Woolly World, 'cause that was
Yes!
fucking adorable.
Did you pick Kirby's Epic Yarn? Because that was like one of my favorite games for the Wii. I played it so much. It was so great.
It's just when I saw like a live version of Yoshi sitting on the guy's shoulder and among the yarn, I was like, my heartstrings, they're tugged, and I want this game so bad.
Yeah.
Oh, how did you feel about Little Big Planet 3 for PS4?
I have the first game. I feel like Little Big Planet kind of falls into where it has its own stages, like a very limited amount of its own stages that it comes with, and then you have to go to player created stuff to continue playing. And back when I did play it, I did not have as much connectivity as I do now, and it just kind of killed the game for me. And so it was just like, oh, now what?
I didn't play it online, or I didn't use any of the player created worlds, and I actually love the games. So I don't know, like I maybe that's also something for me to jump into later, but like Little Big Planet's amazing to me.
I love it. And they've got new characters with new abilities, and that's another one that's like spontaneous co-op. Like, yay!
Yeah.
And the texturing looks amazing.
That's more like a party game, because I definitely played it more in other people's houses than I did on my own computer.
Every time I play that game with somebody, it's always kids' games that wind up like bringing out like the angry competitive side of me. I'm like, no, that's my sticker. Like, I'm not screaming.
It has like the Mario problem where like you can't go further into the screen because you gotta wait for your other person to like catch up to you.
Come motherfucker!
Wind up yelling at everybody. It's like, wait for me! It's going too slow. Like, it always makes me so angry. Oh, there's a bug on my wall. Oh God, go away.
That's not part of the game.
And the second one is definitely going to be those two. I'm jumbling them together, but the Hyrule Warriors and the new open world Zelda game. Just because I love Zelda. I'm wearing the T-shirt right now. I love Zelda.
Hyrule Warriors is going to be the first time you can play Zelda, Impa, and Midna, which is amazing.
Yes.
So that's going to be like super great. I can't wait to be Impa. That's all I want in the world. Oh my God, so badass.
I saw the gameplay demo on IGN because they were doing like a live stream, and it's just amazing what they're doing with Hyrule Warriors, and
it's so good.
I need it right now. I think it's coming out September is what I thought I heard. But I need it. I need it. The precious. Oh, and of course Mass Effect. Mass Effect. I cried.
They didn't end up announcing a Gears of War game this time around, did they?
No.
No.
That's what I've seen. I think Twitter would have freaked the fuck out if it did.
I would have.
Yes, it would have.
I didn't think so, but
I missed my Gears. Oh. And Judgment is supposed to be coming, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Gears anymore. There needs to be more.
Yeah. So there's a question from Twitter from @PapaKenMedia. What other female characters could or should be added to Nintendo Super Smash Bros.? Now they already have Palutena, Samus, Sheik, Zelda, Rosalina and Luna, Peach, and you, because you can play your Mii in the game. So what else would you like to see?
Super easy. I know she's technically a palette swap of Peach, but Daisy should be her own character in Smash, because I am like the biggest Daisy fangirl in the world, and I always play her in Mario Party, and I always play her in Mario Kart, and she's like so badass and annoying, and like I love her for that. And the fact that she's just a palette swap of Peach in Smash Bros. Is like such a disservice, man. I'm so bitter about it. Thank me for president. Oh, my answer.
What about you, Steph?
Epona! Epona's a girl, right? I don't know.
Yeah, she's a girl horse.
Thought so. Epona. That's my final answer.
Amazing. That's the best idea I've ever heard. You're just literally a horse.
Nintendo, get on this.
Where you have the like horse Skyrim power of like just flying around through the sky for like no reason.
But Epona also has like the Ocarina of Time and stuff and can like freeze time.
Guys. So old.
Jessa, what about you?
Super Smash Brothers is not my game, so I couldn't tell you who's playable now. If I could dream up any character to put in there, I would put in Hello Kitty or Rainbow Bright. But that's just me. But
That could be an awesome little cameo, like they did with the Soul Calibur games. They would just put some random character from another series.
I just think like Sony has Kratos like make appearances. Why can't Hello Kitty or Rainbow Bright? I would really kill for like Rainbow Bright to make a cameo. Like that would be amazing with her rainbow powers.
Holy crap! Or the Care Bears with the Care Bear stare. Okay, well,
Yes.
okay, so mine. So I have 3 Zelda characters in here. One's Midna, Tetra, and then Impa. I would like to see them all.
Well, go with the one that you can't play in Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tetra.
Tetra. Perfect.
Because they already have Toon Link in there, they might as well put Tetra in too.
Totally.
I'm right. I know it. Okay. There was someone had asked me about cloud gaming, like what is it? Crackdown is using using cloud a lot for some reason. Do you know anything about that, Jessa or Sam?
I don't know any of the specifics about it because I think they're more and more we're going to see it happen anyways because they're trying to go that way and Sony really needs to because they put so much emphasis on it last year as this is what we're going to do and especially with the remote play that you just have to. But then again, you heard a lot during Xbox about them using their dedicated servers. So I think it's like one of those, though is like how long are they going to maintain those servers? Because we have that happen all the time where, okay, well, the game just came out a year and a half ago. We're really phasing out maintenance on those servers, so buy the new game.
Yeah, it's like, I don't trust the cloud even with my own shit.
Yeah,
and,
I like that backup, like, on my own server.
Exactly. It's like, I'll buy an external hard drive, thank you.
Yeah.
But I think it's one aspect that they could be using with cloud gaming is to eliminate all the load times that huge worlds have or will have. And
the problem with that, though, is still the internet connectivity. Like, it's a great idea to say, okay, we're going to put all the processing power on our servers, but that data still has to get to my house. Like, and that's a huge problem with, like, delays, especially when you're talking multiplayer co-op.
Oh man, yeah.
I mean, I'm not willing to go there yet, which is why I don't typically do co-op because, well, that's one reason. The other is because I'm a lady. Yeah, it's reason enough to stay offline.
Oh, speaking of ladies, Sam, didn't you have like an argument online with some dude?
Oh, it wasn't even an argument. I just blocked him right away. But I was pretty vocal about my feelings about the whole Assassin's Creed Unity thing, and a tweet of mine ended up on like BuzzFeed on their article about it right at the top, and so a lot of people like found me through that, and I got a lot of like male neckbeard hate. But I don't really take it personally anymore. All I kind of do is just retweet it so that all my followers can see it and just like attack on my behalf, and it's really quite lovely. I just get to block them and I just get to watch, and it's actually pretty fun. Also, he spelled bitch wrong, so I wasn't really gonna take it.
Trolls. They never do spell check.
You should.
No,
Yeah,
no,
see,
no.
oh, that shit like just makes me so angry though. Like, I think there was like a big thread on your Facebook today about it, but
Yeah.
oh, like guys when they stand up for their beliefs, like they're like, yeah, man, stick it to the man, yeah. Girls are like, you must be on your period. Ugh.
Yeah, always. There was a guy, like, literally, I posted, like, the rude tweet onto my Facebook, and then, like, a guy that I was Facebook friends with, who I'm no longer Facebook friends with, by the way, was like, well, yeah, you are kind of a hardcore feminist. You're basically, like, Britta from Community. And I was like, Britta's the
I saw that. It was like, oh no, he didn't.
First of all, if you're not going to reply with an actual point that's relevant to the conversation, why are you bothering? You're just proving your ignorance of the topic.
He's like, is this really where you want to put that quote? Like, do you not understand? Like, I just don't. Why are we even friends then? Like, that's what I always want to say to people on Twitter, too. Like, people who unfollow me after I go on, like, a big feminist rant is like, what did you think you were getting into when you followed me? Like, literally, why are you surprised? Like, it just...
Although, I have a question, just from the BuzzFeed point of view. Like, did they contact you before they published your tweet?
No, certainly not.
I love how they do that.
Yeah. It just...
I think it would just be polite if they did that sort of thing, because they've come into, like, situations like this before where somebody's had a comment or a tweet that maybe inflames discussion, or brings up discussion, and it's like, it would be nice if you just said, hey, we'd like to include this in an article. As just a sort, I get that Twitter is public, I do, but especially in, like, hot button issues, like, that's just polite. And also, if you're going to claim to be a journalist,
totally.
Freaking job, man.
Any of them do claim to be journalists, though.
Maybe not BuzzFeed, but some other sites out there.
All of a sudden, like, your hate tweets, like, ramp up in volume, like, very suddenly, and then you're like, oh, something must have happened.
Right.
I must
It's like,
be
I'm okay sharing that with, my 1,500 followers. I don't know that I want to ramp that up to 1 million. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. So the very last thing I want to touch on is they have started playing with the idea of using the Oculus Rift and Project Morpheus into some of their games, like with what was that one? Alien Isolation. They got a hold of the Oculus Rift and they made a prototype demo just for this periphery, and I've heard people say who have tried it, they felt like browning their pants because the terror level, which was already stressful enough, just ramped up, like shot through the roof, because you feel like you're actually in there in a derelict spaceship with a xenomorph.
Stephanie and I are both about to say the same thing. We went to the Game of Thrones exhibit in Toronto, and they had this Oculus Rift thing of, like, you go up the wall, like the giant wall in the north, and then at the end it pushes you off. Yeah. And you're, like, in the fucking Oculus Rift. And it was, like, we were with a friend who shrieked. Like, shrieked. It was the scariest thing of my, like, I can't even talk about it.
We couldn't figure out why, like, Skanky Sansa was, like, freaking out, and, like, she was, like, in the elevator, like, ah! Like, throwing shit fit, and we were like, literally, it can't be that scary. But, like, and the signs everywhere, they're like, if you're afraid of heights, don't do this. But what they don't tell you is, like, because the whole thing is, like, climb the wall, ascend the wall. So you're like, yeah, I can do this. And, everything's fine. You look around, it's really cool. But what they don't tell you is, if you're afraid of heights and being pushed off of said heights, don't do this.
I'm not afraid of climbing. I'm afraid of the fall.
You ascend in the elevator, and I'm, like, terrified of heights. But I was like, this is okay. I'm in this elevator, and you, like, ascend up the elevator, and I was like, I kind of have vertigo, but it's fine. And then all of a sudden, you, like, fly to the other end of the wall, and they throw you off of it. I was like, literally everyone would be afraid of that.
Like, not even just that. Earth, like, wildlings shoot you with fire arrows, and then you fall to your death. And it's like, no one is okay with that. No one. Not ever.
So yeah, being, like, in an alien fucking Oculus Rift experience, I would.
Do not want.
I probably died.
Do not want. I'll just
Nope,
I'll just watch. I'll just watch the YouTube videos and see and watch everyone else.
So like 60 years from now, when like Oculus is like the only way to game, and my grandkids are like, "Come on, Grandma, just play." I'll be like, "I had a taste of that back in my day, and I don't want any part of it."
I got killed by a xenomorph.
Never.
Okay. So, has anyone asked you any questions on Twitter?
I forgot to
No.
check Twitter.
I forgot to check too.
Well, I got to run in a second.
Yeah.
I got to get the keys from my neighbor because she is going away for the weekend and she wants to sleep.
Well, this was super fun, guys. It was great talking to you, and thanks for having me on.
Oh my gosh, it was so fun. Maybe next time I'll be able to figure this out and not bungle stuff up. Bungle is my word for the night, by the way.
We don't blame you. We don't blame you.
We blame Google.
Totally
Yeah.
Google.
So, okay, this was fun, and I hope we can do this again someday.
You bet. You bet.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, it's after 10, and thank you everyone who's watching, 2 viewers. Thank you everyone who is watching, and then thank you guys for coming over. And we're signing off. Oh, okay, so Sam, where can everyone find you?
Oh, you can find me on Twitter at SamMags, and I was just announced I'm the new weekend editor at the Mary Sue, so you can find me on the Mary Sue every weekend. So,
Yay! And Stephanie, where can we find you? Where can they find you? Because I already know.
Yes, true. Well, mostly I'm just Hello Cookie on everything, except for Pinterest, in which some bitch stole my name. But yeah, that's basically me on everything. Hello Cookie on Twitter. That's the best way to get in touch with me.
Okay. Jessa?
You can just go over to goodtobeageek.com. That's where pretty much everything I do lives, just about, somehow. Or if you want to find me on any social media, I'm at Sultry Minx Zoe. So Twitter is at, Facebook is just Sultry Minx Zoe, Google+.
Cool. And, well, you can find me on Agents of Geek and at Intro to Geek on Twitter and the internets. And just over the weekend, we kind of, Jim and I kind of made Stephanie our contributing editor.
yay!
Congrats. She's legit.
Yeah. As opposed to before, where I was definitely not legit.
Yeah, exactly. Now we have to make it Facebook official, so it'll be really legit.
Yeah.
You can't take it back then.
It's on the internet
All
forever.
right. Yes, exactly. All right. Well, I'll see you guys later. Thanks again for coming over. And
Thanks, guys.
thanks so much for the patience. All right. Good night, Internet. Good night.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.